Happy Friday, beautiful people, and welcome to your first sip of the weekend.
You're tuned into your happy hour with Friday Feels. We're celebrating all you working professionals out there, doing your crazy craft, embracing the beauty of being human and connecting authentically. And we're your hosts, Saj and Nicole. We're living and working around the world. We're holding space for you and we're keeping it raw and real as we share fresh content with you every week. Follow us on LinkedIn at Friday Feels and Instagram at These Friday Feels for updates throughout the week.
In our last episode, we spoke to Bruce Hamilton, founder of Everybody Ventures and Everybody Ideas, about the intersection between pop culture, technology, and consumerism, and what it's like to run two companies, building social currency, and making the choices that build legacy. It was an awesome episode, so definitely check out last week's number 26 if you missed it. And this week, well, firstly, a very big welcome to our summer interns, Lila and Ashley, who we're so excited to have on board. And then, as it pertains to our topic for today's conversation, we decided to spice things up a little. What's life for if we can't add a little bit of peri-peri to the mix?
Our podcast is getting a lot of interest, and we've been having a lot of fun interviewing some brilliant minds and humans. This week, we're chatting on the top 10 personal questions our listeners have for us to get to know us a little better.
So let's hop in, Nicole. We've got these really cool questions. We haven't really thought about them too much or seen some of them before, but it's really just to kind of get our audience to get to know who's behind the podcast and the things that excite us. And this month, we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff that we haven't done before. And so I'm super excited. Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Depends who came up with these questions.
Okay, one. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's such a tough question. I don't know why, but A Beautiful Mind always comes to mind. How about you?
Oh, that's a really great one. So I have like these three rom-coms that are in my rotation. And so the two of them that come to mind are 27 Dresses and Definitely Maybe. Have you ever seen them?
I've seen 27 Dresses, but a hell of a long time ago.
I wouldn't say they're like groundbreaking movies, but I feel like they're movies that I've watched over and over. And I don't like to watch movies over and over. So I don't know. I still cracked up. I hadn't watched it in years, and it was on the plane a few months ago. And I was like, oh my God, this is still so funny to me. What has been your best career move?
Oh, I think at the time where I was going into financial crime investigation at KPMG was when I was 24. And yeah, I think that was the best thing I could have done. I learned so much in that industry. And yeah, it was just incredible. I still miss the corporate high heels and pencil skirt days a little bit. So yeah, so it was really a great setup for the rest of my life. How about you?
Yeah, I miss those pencil skirt and high heel days too. I think all the moves are always the best ones right at the time. But I would say, I guess when I was starting out my career, I decided to go into the startup space versus the financial space. And it was really different than a lot of my peers. And I didn't really know too much about it, but I know I liked it. And I think it was definitely the best thing that I ever did because it really opened my eyes to a whole new way of working and being in the world that I hadn't seen before. And so it also set me up for kind of success for things that I still do now, the consulting that we do now, and the kind of companies that I'm super excited about. So I would say that was those kind of pivotal moments when you first start. Sometimes they're lasting. So that would be my best career move.
Oh, nice. What's next?
What do people misunderstand about you most?
Oh, wow. These are hard questions.
Yeah.
Uh, So, something I've recently discovered, I've known it for a long time, but I've really been able to articulate it, is that my biggest strength is ideation. But it's also the thing that I think can overwhelm people a lot about me. And I've realized in interactions, it can be quite a misunderstood thing. So, a lot of my life, I always come up with ideas, I see the gaps, and I tend to want to dream with people. And then not everyone wants to like dream in the moment, they don't appreciate that what I'm dreaming about doesn't have to come into fruition right away. So I think that has been the most misunderstood thing about me, is that when I communicate an idea or a dream or something, it doesn't not mean that I won't do that and create it in the world, but it doesn't mean right now. And so I've had to really learn to go, so for someday, or for another time, or maybe put my ideas aside and then share them at the right time with people. So, yeah, I think that's the most misunderstood thing about me. There are probably a few, but that one stands out. How about you? What do you feel misunderstood in?
Yeah, I feel like some people find me really intimidating, but I'm not very intimidating. I feel like I'm just straightforward. And if you come at me with like some kind of crap, then I will tell you about it. And if you find that intimidating, then you're probably coming at me with some kind of crap. Otherwise, like, I feel like I'm a nice person. So I feel like I feel very misunderstood when people find me intimidating, because I feel like I'm just, one, being myself, and then two, yeah, a lot of people say that. They're like, yeah, I'm super scared. I'm like, why? I don't like, if you don't piss me off, I'm fine. Like, if you do piss me off, well, then yeah, I understand. But I feel like that should be for everybody, right? Like, if you rub them the wrong way and you're not doing something that you're supposed to be doing, then they deserve to be mad. So, yeah, I would say that was that might be number one. We might have people that write in and add things. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure a lot of people have felt things with us and interactions that we don't even know about. So feel
Yeah.
feel free to comment and let us know.
Okay, next. Do you believe in love at first sight? Why or why not?
Sure. Um, is yes and no an appropriate answer to this question? I do believe in an attraction. I believe in energy. I believe that you can look at someone and feel something very specific, and you'll know straight away if you have a resonance with someone or not. And there might be a kind of soul bond behind the look in the eyes, that you're feeling. But I don't really believe in just diving headfirst into something. I do believe in getting to know someone. For the conservatives out there, just rather stay together before you jump into long-term relationships. Then you'll get to know a person. So, yeah, I do and I don't. I'm a romantic at heart, but at the same time, I think life has made me more realistic in relationships due to experience. So, yeah. How about you?
That's a very thorough answer. I'd like to ditto that. I think I believe in lust at first sight, but
Oh,
I don't know that I believe in love at first sight. And you could be right. It could be something like more deeper than lust at first sight. Maybe it's just a connection, or you just feel a familiarity with someone. But I think that love is something that you kind of build over time. So it'd be very hard for me as the logical person to say, yes, that's love at first sight. It might be something more than lust, though. I will give you that would be my take. Okay,
okay.
next question. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Uh, uh, oh, this is so simplistic, but so yummy in so many contexts. Eggs. So I really love eggs, and I love making eggs in different ways. And I've come to realize as I'm traveling that no matter where you are, you can eat eggs, you can find eggs, they're pretty affordable. And
Mm.
if you know how you like your eggs, then I think that says something a lot about how you've kind of gotten to trust yourself as a person. I don't know if you remember that movie, Runaway Bride, but she
Mm-hmm.
basically takes on every boyfriend that she's had. His favorite eggs are her favorite eggs. So I've always had this thing in my mind,
Mm.
like, what is my favorite egg recipe, you know. And so I've come up with this fried omelet. So I kind of fry them and then I top them on top of each other. So I love that, and a lot of butter, the French style. That I could eat every day, 3 times a day. So yeah.
You have to share that recipe with me, because I was eating eggs all the time, and then I got fed up, and then I got back curious. But that's a really interesting take. That's probably really true. With traveling, that is something that you can get everywhere. In a lot of cultures, have it for breakfast, or some people have it like in between. I would say for me, if I had to eat one meal for the rest of my life, it would be some version of the Marry Me pasta. Do you know what the Marry Me pasta is?
Yeah,
It's like this tomato based pasta with cream. And then
sounds amazing.
like some version, it's almost like a penne alla vodka without the vodka. But that's like one of my favorite things to eat. And I started making it with like more veggies in it. So I feel like it's a little bit healthier. I think that would be like, it's just so tasty. And it just makes you feel like you're at a restaurant when you're not. And I feel like good eating it because I made it myself with good stuff in it. So I feel like it's very comforting.
It's called the Marry Me pasta.
Yeah. So like if you look it up on like different social media, you'll see like make marry me pasta with it, because the idea is that when you make it for somebody, that's what makes them want to marry you.
Ah, yeah, okay. I'm gonna remember
I
this
mean, if you
one.
taste it, you're just like, yeah, this is really good. So now you
Okay.
know if you want a
Okay.
recipe.
Yeah, for all the lovers out there looking for a first recipe to make them your bride to be. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. So what has been your favorite purchase so far this year?
Mm. I think it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, what do I actually really enjoy spending money on? And what's come to mind is I love spending money on getting my songs out there. I really don't mind spending money on distributing them. And that's like probably the most joy I get when I click submit and I know like in 7 days' time the song is going to be ready for distribution. So I would say my favorite purchase has been my singles that I've released this year. And yeah, to many more, many fold to come as well. How
Yeah,
about
that's
you?
a good one. I guess I would say something that I've really been enjoying, which I actually didn't purchase for myself, was my boyfriend's cousin gave me these two like Furby fuzzy sock things. It's like a inside slipper, a bedroom slipper, but they're very furry and like soft, and I wear them all around the house, and I don't know, they just make me feel really comfortable. I wear them like wherever I go. If I go to a different house or I go to somebody else's that like we're staying at, like they just kind of move around with me, and they're super fun and colorful. Like one of them's like rainbow, and it just like makes me remind myself not to take myself too seriously. I might
Yeah.
be like wearing corporate stuff on the top or something that's business work friendly, but like my feet are in like little Furby little Furby shoes, and I just find them really fun. So I think they
Uh,
definitely brighten my day and probably annoy the other people in the house. So like, why a grown woman
uh,
is wearing this.
I love that. I feel like we should have Friday Feels Furby shoes.
Yeah, that would be so cool. That would be super
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's not, sorry, I'm saying it's Furby. It's Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, or sorry, it's
Mm.
Stitch, the little blue one. I think he's Stitch. Yeah, he's Stitch. He's not Lilo. So yeah, but he looks like a Furby. So
Yeah, Furby sounds like a good description for what you're wearing.
okay, what's your go-to emoji? I know this one for you.
Oh, yes, yes. Ooh, okay, there are two. The sparkle, there's like a little sparkle, a yellow
Yeah.
sparkle that I love using. And then I also really love the red dancing woman. I feel like if someone had to look back at my life in emojis, it would be like she was wearing red dresses, dancing all the time, yeah. And
Aw, that's such
sparkling.
a good one.
So, yeah, I love
Yeah.
those. I love it. And yours?
I like the little eyes that just move, that they're just two big eyes and they just kind of look like this. And I also use the smirky smiley face a lot. Those are my two favorite ones.
Yeah, I love it.
And then, okay, so what? what's your clutch on bad days? Like, what is your go-to thing that you do on bad days? It could be, something that you eat, drink. It could be like a exercise or something that you do. It could be somebody you call. Just like, what do you do on your bad days that
Hmm.
helped you, I guess, get through
Yeah,
them?
okay. So it depends if it's a healthy reaction to the bad day or a not so healthy reaction to the bad day. Let's go with the healthy reaction first. I will go for a long walk and I'll put music on and I'll do like a bit of a it's not Zumba, it's my own style of dance aerobics that I make up in the moment. I play with the dogs. I'll if I can, like now, I'll lie in the sun and I find a spot where like no one can see me, and then I just lie naked in the sun so I can absorb all the sunlight. Other day, someone came up the driveway, and yeah, I had to run for cover. But anyway, so and then on a really bad day, all I want to eat is Nutella, and I want to watch movies, and I will probably. Well, I always call my mom on a good day too, but yeah, it makes me really happy if I can just hear her voice. And like sometimes she's the only person who's like, oh, I can hear you going through a tough time, and you don't have to say anything. So yeah, moms are amazing things. But yeah, those are really the main things. But Grace sees in all of them, and whether it's good or bad, she always makes me smile too. So how
Aw,
about
that's
you?
nice. Yeah, there's actually some similarities there. So I'd say on bad days, my clutch is something that is really soothing to me is just drinking tea, like English breakfast tea or Assam tea
Mm.
or orange pico tea. It's soothing for me. I grew up around it with milk and sugar. And then I try to go outside to get some sunlight on my face. You're supposed to have like 10 minutes of direct sunlight on your face, which is why I'm so brown this summer already. Um, and then there was one other thing I was going to say. Yeah, I would call one of my cousins who I know I can kind of like tell anything to, who's in Trinidad, my cousin Lily, because she just lets me vent and say whatever. And I just feel better when I talk to her. I think when you don't have, I mean, you know this, when you are only child, but like when you don't have older siblings, sometimes it's difficult to feel like comforted by someone. So she's a little bit older than me. And even though we have different lives, it's super helpful to just have someone that listens. So yeah, that's what I do on bad days. Okay, two more to go. If you could teleport to anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Maybe I would go to South Africa for a day just to kind of see everyone, give everyone hugs. Although it's really cold there right now, so maybe that's not a good answer for the moment. I think otherwise I would, yeah, actually, okay, I would go to South Africa, but just to hold my little niece. My cousin had a baby,
Aw.
and I'm kind of missing seeing her grow up, and she's such a little madam. So yeah, I think I would just go and give her a bit of love for a day. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah. How about you?
Um, I would go to a beach somewhere and just relax and take in the water, which is really crazy because I can actually do that here where I
Yeah,
am.
you're lucky.
But there is some seaweed out there. But yeah, I just find water really calms me, and or it's just fun for me. And so I would say maybe like a beach in Bali or somewhere exotic
Mm.
that's new that has like fresh fruit and food and just relax and unwind and appreciate it. That would be
Oh,
my, if I had to
nice.
teleport, that would be so fulfilling to me right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm coming with you. That one sounds good. We can wade in the water.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then the last one is, what is the biggest fear you've overcome in the past 6 months?
I think it's been the fear of trusting myself. I've also really come to realize that in the last few weeks that a big blocker in my life and in many ways, and the universe has really been pushing me to kind of dig deeper in there to the grains that were stuck. Yeah, I realized that a big life lesson for me is trusting myself. I gave a lot of that trust away from a young age, and I've kind of been, I think, over this journey taking a lot of that back. As you travel, you have to make decisions all the time. So you keep learning to trust yourself in the moments and learning to trust your intuition, which is for all of us really strong. We just need to tap in there. And so the more I've become in tune, the more I've realized how long ago I kind of gave this away. And there's been some fears around it still, around financial security and really letting abundance in, believing the idea of abundance, but not necessarily trusting that I can make the right decisions for that abundance to come in. So that's been a big one for me, and it was a fear around that. But if I can't trust myself, who can I, And so I've really had to let that go and release that and surrender. It's been really good. How about you?
I think you have a competitive advantage because you're answering first.
It's not a competition.
I just want to be like, yes, that, yes, me too. No, I think it's been a realization that I can do hard things. Like I spend a lot of time these days just like reflecting, like, okay, how did I get here? Is this what I thought it would be? Is this what I wanted? Am I happy? Like, because I feel like sometimes you just don't stop and think like, okay, I feel like I've made a lot of adjustments to be able to do what I'm doing now. And so it's always good to kind of check in and see if it's really what you thought it would be, or I made these adjustments thinking, okay, you'd be happier, you'd be doing it for this, for XYZ. And sometimes it's hard to see through that fog. And so one is, you can do hard things. And two, it's along the lines of trusting yourself of like, if not me, then who? And so sometimes it's very different mindset shift that we've talked a lot about on the podcast when you kind of have your own projects and initiatives, and also having partners to do it with and hearing their thoughts and being respectful of that. I think it's just been a whole new growth phase that is super scary. And I didn't expect the scary part. I just kind of was building on these are the pros. I wasn't like looking and seeing, okay, well, this is the realistic way of how the day-to-day is going to be. And just being mindful of that. And also understanding that, there was something that I read by an entrepreneur, and she was writing that, you have to understand that it is going to be hard. It is difficult. And you have to expect that, right? And when you change it from like, oh my God, I can't believe all these 5-10 things broke and this happened, your mindset is different because like, you're like, oh, 5 broke. I expected 5 to break. I expected a lot of to break. Only 5 broke, not 10, not 50. And so I think it really makes a difference, because then when you come into roadblocks, you're like, okay, well, this is either 1, it's growing pains, 2, how do I assess it? And, a lot of people in my life who've been mentors, officially or unofficial, they're always like, just keep going, just keep going. And it does help, because you're just like, sometimes it helps when you talk to other people who are going through something similar. It doesn't have to be the same business. It could be the same experience or phase in their life. And you realize how many things they had to overcome or how difficult it was for them. You think, oh shit, maybe my journey actually isn't that bad, or it isn't that hard, or it's very different in that way. And it kind of gives you hope. So I think it definitely, just having more perspective has helped with that fear of kind of being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, I think it's been an incredible 6 months, right? I mean, it's been like 6 months since we released episode 1. And that's crazy to me. I just cannot believe we're in June. And yeah, I want to actually ask one bonus question quickly when you're mentioning mentors. And we're always asking other people this question. Maybe it's time we ask ourselves, but what has been the best professional advice you've received on your journey?
The best professional advice that I've gotten is that something that I read, which was you choose your hard. So it's either you stay in the same place, which is actually very difficult for you. And given all the parameters, it could be, let's just take financial wealth, for example. You choose your hard by not choosing to be disciplined and figuring out how to attain financial wealth. But it's also hard to actually do those steps. and get yourself where you want to be. So I think with any goal, it's very much choose your heart. Do you want to stay in the same place, or do you want to stay in the same circumstances that also give you a difficult maybe mindset, or maybe difficult on you financially or emotionally, whatever it is? Or do you want to choose to be in the thick of it, which is also hard? And I think that's very important, because you're always making that choice. You're always making that choice of whether, do I want to get better? Do I want to feel better? Do I want to do this? And I remind myself of that a lot, because it doesn't mean I always follow it, but at least I feel like I'm doing something by being mindful of it, that you're choosing the circumstances that you're in to a certain degree. You can choose to stay in it, or you could choose to do something to change it. And maybe something to change it isn't the best thing, right? But sometimes it is. And I think that's probably some of the best professional advice that I've ever read or gotten that's been applicable through all phases of my life.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's true. It really, really is. Choose your heart, but you'll probably never work a day in your life if you're choosing the things that you want to do, even if it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. What about you?
Ooh, the best professional advice I've received. I think quite recently, I'm coming to learn something interesting, and someone said this to me: just do the basics. Sometimes I like I was saying, I'm such an ideation, and I kind of get lost in my own world. But I've realized that when I pay attention to the admin in my life, when I don't procrastinate, setting up the bank account, paying the taxes, whatever it might be, things move a lot quicker. Things flow, the energy flows, and so for me, I think it's just been really helpful to kind of, focus on doing the basics. I can totally understand why Jordan Peterson starts his book with make your bed, because when you get up and you make your bed, and then you brush your teeth, and then you do your exercise, and you go for a walk, and you feed the dogs, and whatever it is, you are shifting the energy all around you all the time. And so even if you're having a bit of a shitty day, things change, and yeah, so I think momentum and just getting things done and sticking to the basics has probably been the best thing someone had said to me recently. So, so that's probably been my best professional advice in the last few weeks, and come to realize in the last 6 months. Yeah.
I think that's really great advice. Sometimes you get super into the weeds and you don't really stop. I'm very much like that. I will go all the way in and then neglect a lot of things that are just normal, basic things to do. But that's good advice. Well, this has been super fun, kind of sharing with everyone and then understanding, of course, more of each other and answering these fun questions. I guess a question to our audience is, what are the other questions that you'd like us to answer that are related to your daily life? And what were your answers to these top 10 questions? Engage with us on socials out there and let us know your thoughts, your feels, your stories, and especially the stories. We love to hear them. We do read them. We share them. We talk about them. And we're super excited to kind of get more involved in terms of connecting with you guys. So stay tuned.
And yeah, like Saj said, we would love to hear from you. So remember to tag us at These Friday Feels, and to share your stories and listen to us on all your favorite platforms, and to work with us, or maybe have us broadcast Friday Feels from your space out in the world, or organize your next workation. You can also reach out to us at hello@friday-feels.co. Friday Feels. But next week, stay tuned for more surprises. Who knows what top 11 things we might jump at over the headphones. Until next time, that is our Mix Feels Friday. We've had so much fun mingling with you, and we wish you safe travels into your bed, into the night, and into this awesome weekend. See you next week, and keep it real.